Hey class, happy Friday. This is the end of week 5 here of remote learning. All right, so today's notes kind of lesson today, we're just going to kind of review what we've done all week, right? We're going to look at the graphs of quadratic equations here, right? We're both going to find out the solutions by looking from its graph. We're going to again practice a little bit of graphing, as well as kind of seeing what happens to the parent graph, how it shifts or moves depending on what happens to the equation. Okay, so first thing is you can see here, we're just going to kind of look at the solutions of a quadratic equation from its graph. All right, so in our first two examples here, right, we want to identify the solutions of the quadratic equations using the graphs. All right, and if we recall, our solutions for our quadratic equations is going to be the x-intercepts, right? At what value are the x's when this graph intercepts it? All right, so here's my graph in blue. And what is my value of x, or what are my x-intercepts? Well, I have an x-intercept here, and I got an x-intercept there. Right, so right here, it looks like it's -1. And then right here is -1, 2, 3. So my solutions are x is equal to -1, and x is equal to -3. All right, and my graph number 2 here, right here's my graph up here, but as you can see, my graph does not cross that x-axis, right? So if a graph does not cross an x-axis, then we can say it has no solution. All right, we had a couple more graphs here. All right, example 3, right here is my graph. All right, I'm just going to kind of highlight it in blue here. And on this one, right, it only looks like it touches or crosses my x-axis at one spot, okay? And that's okay. Sometimes my graph will only have kind of one solution. All right, so my one solution for example number 3 here is going to be x is equal to 1, 2, 3. Right, it looks like my x-intercept here is just 3. So in this case, I just have one solution. All right, and my last example here, 4. Right, again, here's my x-axis. It looks like it crosses here and here. All right, so we're just going to simply count up the units or count up the spaces, and those are going to be my solutions. All right, so example 4, again, looks like I'll have 2 solutions because it crosses my x-axis at 2 spots. Okay, and it's going to be a +1, 2, 3. So I can say one of my solutions is x equal 3, and my other one is 4, 5. So I have 2 solutions, x is equal to 3, and x is equal to 5. All right, so that's how I'm going to do my solutions when I have a graph. All right, so solutions to a quadratic equations are the x-intercepts of its graph. All right, where does it cross that x-axis? Those are going to be my solutions. All right, so now we're going to do a couple more practice ones of graphing here, right? So the directions here say to solve the following equations by graphing the related function on Desmos. All right, so hopefully you found that site pretty easy to use, and hopefully you found your solutions pretty easy, right? You're just going to hover over that mouse, all right? And we're also, again, going to include an image of the graph, and then, if necessary, we'll round our answers to the nearest 10th degree. All right, so let's pull up the Desmos app here. All right, start some graphing here. And my first equation is 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. Right, so again, 3x squared, right? So we may have to come down here and get that keyboard. Here it is, 3x squared plus 4x, right? Plus 4x minus 1. All right, so we can use a keypad here, or we can use a keyboard on our computer to type some of this stuff in, right? And here's my graph, all right? So it looks like I have one solution right here of -1.5, and my other solution here is 0.2, all right? And we talk about round to the 10th, right? It's just that first number after the decimal. So we say x is -1.5 and +0.2. So my solutions are x is equal to -1.5 and x is equal to 0.2 or 0.2. All right, so now to include the graph, right? I saw some good creativity there. Some of you were able to figure out that snipping tool. Some of you were able to just take a picture of your computer screen. All right, both of those are great, good ideas. I really, if you use that snipping tool, I think that'd probably be the easiest, but either way is fine. All right, and then we're gonna just go ahead and copy and paste it on here. And let me just move this over. All right, so that's the graph of that quadratic equation. All right, and again, I'm going to do this one now, 2x squared plus 9x plus 4. All right, again, you can just cross it out, and then 2x. If you get that squared, you're going to have to hit this little a to the square button here. All right, so 2x squared plus 9x plus 9x. All right, so I'm just typing right on my keyboard, plus 4. All right, and you guys did a really nice job of not putting that equals 0 part on these graphs, so I appreciate that. All right, so now I want to zoom out a little bit. Here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go. Why is this thing? I'm going to roll you up there. All right, so zoom in and out, right? So here are my solutions. I'm going to hover over. It looks like it's at negative 0.4 and negative 0.5. All right, and look at that. Wow, I can even capture the points on there. Now I didn't even know I could do that. You learn something new every day here. All right, look at that. Now, that'd be pretty impressive if you guys can get those points as well. All right, so I can go ahead and copy and paste it right there. And look at that, I have my solutions right there for me. So x is equal to negative 4, and x is equal to negative 0.5. All right, awesome. All right, a couple more here. All right, so now we're going to kind of look at this exploring of these quadratic functions here, or quadratic graphs, all right? So we're going to kind of describe how the following functions differ from the parent graph of y equals x squared, right? Remember that parent graph is just the most simplest, basic type of quadratic equation you can get. And then we're going to match its graph to its corresponding equation. We're going to use this word bank below. All right, I got 6 words in my word bank, and I got 6 blanks here, and I also have 6 different graphs. All right, so we're going to do a little matching here and a little bit of describing here. All right, so for number 7 here, right, we have y is equal to x squared minus 4. All right, so is that going to be a shift up, down, shift left, shift right, wider, or narrower? All right, so if we need to, right, we might need to go back into our notes from the other day, right, in the week 5 here, right, from right here, from Wednesday's notes, right, exploring the graphs. All right, and just look at my key here, unless you have your notes out in front of you. All right, so we might need to reference these notes when we're doing the notes for today. All right, so you can see here, if something is added to it afterwards, it's going to shift up, right? And if it's subtracted, right, it's going to be shifted downward. All right, so if it's x squared minus 4, that means it's going to be shifted down. All right, so that means I use that one up. All right, so now I'm going to look at my graphs here, right? And which one of these graphs has a shift down? All right, so this one, nope, nope, and nope, right? So nothing on A, B, and C. So look at, oh, here we go. Look at D here. All right, look at how this graph on D is shifted down 4 units. All right, so that's going to be for number 7 here. All right, number 8, it's y is equal to 4x squared, right? So in this one, there's just that constant in front of that x squared part. All right, so if that number is in front and it's big number, all right, it's going to kind of be different from what you think, right? So if it's a bigger number on front, that means this is going to be my graph that's going to be narrower, right? That's going to be a little skinny graph because it's going to be stretched up very high. All right, so now we're going to look for kind of a narrow graph here. All right, that's on the center, but narrow. Nope. Do you see it? Yep, there it is, right? It's going to be the letter E, right? You can see kind of how this graph is kind of compressed or stretched inward. All right, so that's going to be graph E for number 8. All right, and number 9, right, we notice those parentheses, right? So y is equal to parentheses x plus 4 squared. All right, and if we recall from the notes from Wednesday, right, when it's inside the parentheses, that's going to be your shift left or right. Okay, and it's kind of opposite of what you think, right? Opposite of what it looks like, just kind of like how we do that point slope form. All right, so if this is a plus 4, that means it's going to be shifted to the left 4 units. All right, so this is going to be my shifted left. All right, so now I'm going to look for a graph that has a shift to the left. All right, so graph A looks like that's a shift to the right. And here we go, graph F is going to be my shift to the left. So that's going to be F. All right, so now number 10, right, we have y is equal to 0.4x squared, right? So that 0.4, that's going to tell me that this is going to be a wider graph, all right, because that number 0.4 is less than 1. All right, so that 0.4 is going to tell me that it's wider. So now I'm going to look for a nice wide graph here. And I already used up D, E, and F. So now I'm just looking at A, B, and C, and look at number C here. Right, this is a nice wide graph here. All right, and then number 11, I have y equals parentheses x minus 4 squared. All right, again, I have this parentheses, so that's going to be my shift left to right. All right, since I already used my shift left, right, this kind of makes it my shift right. And if I hadn't used up the other one, right, again, if it's in parentheses and it's a minus, then it's really a shift to the right. Okay, and then the graph of that one, all right, the shift right is going to be here, right, letter A. All right, so process of elimination, right, I know we can guess which one this is going to be, but now let's just kind of talk about it, right? So y equals x squared plus 4, right? If it comes afterwards, right, that's going to be my shift up or down, right? But since it's a plus 4, that's going to be my shift up. So you can see how it differs. It is shifted up. All right, in the graph that has a shifted up graph, right, it's going to be right here at letter B. All right, so time for you guys to do a little practice. All right, you can go ahead and get on Schoology and look at the assignment for today, and then have a nice weekend, and then we'll be back on Tuesday.